Welcome to the best thing you watch with Chris from Movies and Munchies and Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. We're back with another podcast episode. It's YouTube and it's podcast combined for the first hour. And then the second hour, it's exclusively podcast where we talk about entertainment news. This week, we've got some special tribute to Bruce Willis, I believe. Are we doing that then, Chris?
Yeah. Yep,
yes,
yep.
we're gonna name our top 5 Bruce Willis films, specifically because of the stuff that's come out about him this week and kind of retiring from acting. So we wanted to kind of nod our heads to what he's done for acting. Also apologize because there's that special. If you've watched our Patreon video, you know what we're talking about. And I've just felt so bad. So we're going to backtrack a little and we're going to say, hi, Bruce, we love you. And
yes.
Also, it's been a hell of a week. I think we've got some interesting stories to tell you. I think it'll be enjoyable to listen to. Thank you so much for joining us if this is your first time. And equally, all the love for returning. I hope to not speak over Chris this week. I hear your complaints. It's probably me being a little, I need to speak more than Chris. Also technology. I am more important.
No. It is the technology. If you actually will go back to one of the videos within the last couple of weeks, there was a point where Ruben is actually telling the future. He could answer a question before I asked it because the technology, he's on one continent, I'm on another. Well, you're on an island. I don't know. Are you on a continent? I don't know. Is UK considered a continent?
Don't ask me where I am, Chris.
Okay,
I have no knowledge of geography. I could be in Timbuktu.
I'm in Timbuktu 3 over in California. So we're in totally different spots of the world, totally different time zones. You know, internet is wonky. So apologies. If we do talk over each other a little bit, it's mostly the technology. There is a little bit of delay sometimes. And it's funny because we may not actually see a delay in what we see as we communicate, but when the final product is there. And so we try to edit that out as best as possible, but there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Housekeeping done?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Okay.
Want to say congratulations to, because we asked a question last week. I asked a movie quote question as to what I speak good. What does the dodge, dive, dip, duck, and dodge? What is that film? And Master Onion North guessed correctly. Congratulations. It is, of course, Chris.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball. Yes. One of my favorites. It puts me in a good mood. Like if I'm in the grumps, that's a good one to watch.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
If you can dodge a wrench, you're doing well. All right, Chris.
Oh, goodness. All right. So I have a question. This one hopefully is easy. I don't know. We'll see. What is the best Wi-Fi name that you've ever seen?
Oh, wow. There are numbers that I've seen. I don't know if you ever, if you're driving somewhere new and you run out of data, maybe if you're a student, you can tell us about like the Wi-Fi you connect to, if your neighbors or there's something's wrong and you happen to see their Wi-Fi name. And I think the Wi-Fi names are quite funny and then you can sometimes guess their password, but I have come across hand on heart password as the password.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. There has also been the number of pi to like the number of, I think, 86 numbers. So it literally was painted on a wall that if you could type in this, you can have free Wi-Fi. But that's a lot of dedication.
If you don't give up before then.
Yeah, like, hopefully it just saves it then from ever. So what's the best ones you've seen?
Well, okay, so I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is It Hurts When I Pee.
Ouch.
So the last is I and P. Okay. But yes, and my son and his wife, theirs is, unless they've changed it, The Elders of the Internet.
Nice
little IT crowd reference there. So yeah, you know, I've seen Mr. Rogers' Neighbor Hurts.
That's awesome.
You know. Hot Cheetos. That's one actually near us.
Okay, so
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna challenge myself and see if I can freak out my neighbors, because they definitely can see a Wi-Fi name, because I can see theirs, a number of them around here. So we'll see if I can make a really creepy one. See what they say.
Nice. Outstanding. All right. Nope. What are some of your names? What's your Wi-Fi not your password. We don't care about the password. But what is your Wi-Fi network name? I think that would be fun. If you've got something unique or crazy, or you've just seen one that's really off the wall or gross or whatever, I don't care. Yeah, put that in the comments. That'd be fun to see.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi name and your IP address, please.
Yeah. I don't want the IP address. I don't care. But hacker Ruben over there,
Let's see what I can do.
Oh, goodness. All right. This has been a week, hasn't it?
It has been a week. It's actually been a tough week, I think. Not just with entertainment. It just felt like a long week. I don't know about you, Chris, but I struggled this week.
Yeah, I did too. Especially as we got towards the end of the week, the week, you're right, the week was long, but as we got towards the end of the week, because I had already seen a lot of the content that was coming out later in the week, I was watching some of the stuff that was actually coming out at the later of the week. And I haven't had a win yet. It's been disappointing. I need a win. So we'll see. I started a show that I have seen. The second season just came out. And so I'm cautiously optimistic that this might be okay. It's not great. I know it's not great, so that's fine. But if it's just okay,
I better not be the one I'm thinking of, because I love the first season.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think?
Okay.
Mine is a Spanish series on Amazon Prime. No. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So we're all good.
Yeah. All right. So what tops your list this week?
What tops my list is going to be, I don't even know if you've seen this film. I'm going to show it to you. Can you see that?
Oh, I can't see all of it. No.
Let's try.
See here. Let me. Pakt something or other.
Yeah. Okay. So it's called Pakt de Wolfe. So.
Wolf Pack.
Yeah. Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Oh.
Yeah. It stars people you haven't heard of.
Okay.
And Mark Dacascos.
Why do I know that name?
He's recently, back in the 90s, he was in all loads of action martial art films. He was 90s star for martial art films.
Okay.
Recently, he's been in John Wick 3. He was the big fight at the end.
He was the bald dude.
The dude, yeah, the bald dude.
Yeah. Okay.
So Pakt de Wolfe, it's very hard to get you. I believe in the US it's on Amazon Prime, so if you want to check it, you can go and watch it. But in the UK, Brotherhood of the Wolf, you can't buy on Amazon. You can't, it's very hard to come by. And a word of warning, try and get a copy that has the original language with subtitles on it, because I had to watch the dubbing, and the dubbing isn't great. A couple of the actors do speak English, so they've dubbed their own voices in English, if that makes sense. Oh, so they spoke in their original language, which I think is French. Oh, it also, Monica Bellucci's in this, so Vincent Cassel. So there's a few that you might know.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
This is a weird ass film. You think it's one film for the first half, and then I can't even read the synopsis because it's not in English. Have you got it up there, Chris?
I do. Yeah, in 18th century France, the Chevalier de Fronsac and his name. I apologize to all of France for that. And his Native American friend Mani are sent to the Gévaudan province at the king's behest to investigate the killings of hundreds by a mysterious beast.
Yeah, so they think it's a demon wolf that's killing specific, mostly poor people. And it's spaced over an amount of months. And so these two that are essentially taxidermists for the king, They've traveled around the world a lot, and they've like stuffing animals. You have this one guy that seems to know a lot of fighting skills, and the guy that's with him, who is Mark Dukakis, who doesn't have a lot of speaking lines. I believe, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think he plays an Indian.
Okay.
Yeah, because he has long hair, like an Apache Indian. I don't know what parts, like, I'm not saying he's Apache, but he's Indian, he's got this makeup, but he also fights like a mixture between someone that knows how to use tomahawks, but martial arts with that. So, like, don't shout at me in the comments that I've seen it 2 or 3 times. I just remembered that recently. It's like, I saw someone review this on Facebook recently. It's like, I remember that film fondly. I'm going to go back and watch it. So I hunted it down. And I'm not sure I love it as much as I did when I first watched it when I was young. However, I've still not come across a film like this, because it comes with that imagery that's set in like 1800s, I think, and you have highwaymen, very wet, very dreary, monster. Then you have like very sexualized content. Then you have martial arts, and then the second half of the film is a revenge sort of story. So it goes from one detective interesting story, and then you build on it, and it's quite long. I think it's like 2.5 hours, and then it goes to months. It's so unique and different. I was like, I still don't think I've come across a film quite like that. In the 90s, they used to do that sort of thing. Tarantino, you know, he would start off in a kidnapping film and then end it into a vampire film. You know, people just don't make movies like this anymore. And so this was refreshing. It's the director's cut is 150 minutes. So that's the one I watched.
Wow.
Yeah. It's an epic.
Okay.
Like everything about it is epic. Real life, costumes, real life, prosthetics. Kind of. You can see where they've used blood and where it's been replaced with something. I don't think there's any CGI in it. I think it's all like in camera. So nice. You know the painstaking effort they went through it. There's a lot of sort of slow-mo to make everything like really epic when they're fighting in the rain and it's like that's classic 90s. But after a while you understand it is the technique that they've wanted to use. It's very atmospheric. Comes from the director who directed Silent Hill. So if you like the way the Silent Hill movie looked, you're possibly going to like this more. So I thought I would bring this to everybody's attention because this is a different one. Not a lot of people are going to have heard it or watched it. But Brotherhood of the Wolf. Check it out, peeps.
Well, in the U.S., it is on AMC Plus.
Oh, nice.
So that's one of my subscriptions. So, hey, I can I can check this out.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
So what's on the top of your list? Wow, nothing. Chris has got nothing.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, we can talk about it more. We touched on it a little bit last week, but I hadn't watched it yet. Excuse me. Slow Horses on Apple TV. I watched. I'm torturing myself. It's coming out. You know, the first 2 episodes came out this past week.
Yeah.
And then they're doing weekly releases.
Right.
And so I am going to watch episode by episode.
No, but you got the screeners.
I know, I do. And it's I got to tell you, it's painful, and it's taking actually a lot of self-control, because when episode 2 ends, I'm like, no, that is not where you can end right there. You have this like for you too, it checks so many boxes for me, because we have espionage, we have some quick action, some really good intriguing drama. I mean, they have built out this story, which I don't even know if it's going to last the whole series, if it's going to, like, they're going to wrap this one up and then continue on, or if it's going to, because of this story that has started, it's going to change to some internal workings and everything else throughout, which I'm great either way. I mean, you have Jack Loudon, Olivia Cooke, Jonathan Pryce, Kristen Scott Thomas, and of course Gary Oldman. And the cast together is spectacular. And Gary Oldman, I mean, you're right. You had said, I mean, he's perfect for this role. He's like kind of drunk the entire time. He's always cranky, but there's something about him that is just like it feels like it's almost a shtick. You know what I mean? Like for his character, like he's hiding something because he's a spy. I mean, he's espionage, and he's been this for a really long time. And even though he's relegated to Slough House and with all of the misfits and the rejects, there's something else in there that it's like, I'm hoping. So I don't know. I mean, it's the first 2 episodes though, that first opening scene of episode 1 was crazy intense.
Yeah, it was. What a way to open it.
It really was. Yeah. Like my heart rate and my adrenaline went up, but not like immediately. Like it just went, and then it stayed here. And it's like, and he's just the chase through the airport, just all that's going on, and I'm like, I don't know what, this is just exciting. And we have no context. That was the other thing. What a great way to start without any context, and yet to get me fully engaged in what's going on. Oh my goodness. So,
super funny.
Yeah.
Super funny series.
Yeah, I did laugh quite a bit.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I got to tell you,
What were you laughing
because
at?
of just it. It's not like belly laughs. It's those little something like that. That there's a line here or a look that happens, or it came across just in the right snarkiness that combined with the British, where it was like, yep. I love this. I mean, I think too, because I love British shows, this has even a higher spot in my heart, I mean, but I think even if you don't gravitate towards British shows, the storytelling so far is so good. It's tight. It's very engaging. They're building out a really good story, and they're giving us many different facets and directions that are going to culminate into something crazy. And so
I won't spoil it.
Thank you. Because I tell you what, no, it really was like, we ended episode 2 and I backed out of the screeners, and my wife was like, whoa, what? We have more. You can't stop there. And I'm like, no, I need to, only 2 are coming out this week. I want to just review these as they come. And she's like, that sucks.
I couldn't do that. Sorry. I was not waiting for that moment, especially on that cliffhanger.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, it is like it, which I don't know what I'm with everybody else. Where are you going from here? And because of what happens and what is shown and what is not shown, I don't know how serious something is.
Yeah.
Is this, it looks serious. I mean, that looks pretty bad. So we'll see. Yeah.
Nice. Excuse me. I don't want to burp into the mic.
Oh, do it. Do it.
Okay. So, next on my list, I totally didn't think I was going to be talking about this film. It's not out for you guys yet, but this is Sonic 2 the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Obviously, Jim Carrey's back doing the Eggman, and he's incredible. The great thing about what they've done with this film is they've taken what worked in the first one and doubled down on that in the second. There is a 20-minute sequence of characters that they're introduced that they didn't need in the film at all. That they could, as far as I'm concerned, I know they were using it as a plot device to move the story further to get it to a place they wanted to go. But I think they could have written that out. I just didn't need, in fact, the characters they just don't go back to. So I was like, yeah, didn't need that in there at all. Other than that, it's great. And the jokes that are in it, 100% are for adults. Like the kids will just not get it. So they've really catered for some of the zeitgeist of what's happening in society now. They've played on that and used that. And then they've taken Jim Carrey, and I guarantee when we get the outtakes, it's going to be a lot of Jim Carrey, because I feel like the takes that they took was just one of the ones that they would have gone, okay, go, Jim Carrey. And he's just gone, like a duck, or something, because that's what he does. That when you allow him to do characters like The Mask or Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, this is what he does best. And he's so funny, he's so good, and his timing is awesome. Then we get Idris Elba, who is Knuckles, and oh my gosh, he was so good! Like, so good as Knuckles. I was just, like, geeking out, because he is a warrior, the best of the best warrior, his character in this. He knows, like, he's just gruff, and he's come from a very dark past, and he's come, and if you've seen the trailer, you know that he's got a bone to pick with Sonic. But at stages in the film, they're going to be bantering and bickering with each other. And Knuckles' dry humor or retorts to Sonic's lightness, because he's just bubbling happy, is hilarious. Like, it's really funny. There's one little like sneak bit, playing a game of some sort, which I won't say. And they're like, no, we're just doing this for fun. He says, I will beat you at fun. You know, I will be the best at this fun. It's that sort of wit. He just doesn't. It's almost like what's his face from the Marvel film, who jokes just go over his head. Drax. It's almost that sort of character. So I've really enjoyed him in this. Tails, for me, they didn't develop enough of Tails. Tails was just like, I got Spinny Tail and gadgets. And I know the audience are going to love the characters in this. And there'll be people that, like your favorite, either Sonic, Knuckles, or Tails. And they didn't double down on the things that didn't work. So they didn't need lots of family time with Scott Speedman, is it? James Marsden. Why do they look alike, I guess? James Marsden, as like the family unit. They spend some time in it, and then they concentrate a little bit on this is family, like Fast and Furious. Family. It's all about family. Vin Diesel. It's all about family. I've lost track. now that I've gone Vin Diesel, I just walked out of the cinema with a massive smile on my face, and it's like, I'm so glad I didn't watch Morbius and I chose to watch Sonic instead. I think it was the right decision. Stay till the mid-post credits scene, because if you're a fan of the games, you're going to have your head explode. Because we know that we're getting a series with Knuckles now, and I was worried about that. I am no longer. Idris Elba, he nailed it. But now what they've got coming for another film, I'm just like, yeah, yes. Okay, that's all my words.
So did you like, or what did you feel about the first movie?
I think it had its faults. I enjoyed it for what it was. I knew what it was going to be. I didn't think it was terrible.
Okay.
I was like, I think it was either 2.5 or 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it, but it had some issues that it needed to work out. Okay.
I'm glad to hear that it's like geared also for adults this time. I mean, how is is the story itself like deeper though? I mean, does it have...
I don't think the story needs to be that deep, but what it does have is a quest. Okay. And that is brilliant. That is really fun. So they need to get something to stop Jim Carrey from taking over the universe. And how you do that is you follow a map. And so they're all racing against time trying to get there. That's all I needed. Like, I didn't need more than that. Like, especially for a Sonic movie. Sure. And so, like, there's these places where you see Sonic bouncing off walls, or like a sort of pyramid place, and there's traps and things going. Like, that's like the game. The kids, anybody that's played the game is going to be like, that's awesome. You hear the sound effects of the rings, all from the games, like bling, that kind of thing. Or someone's phone ringtone is, you're like, yeah. It's just nice little touches, nods.
Okay. Well, good. Because, I mean, I was less thrilled with the first one. I was just bored, I think. And even from like taking kids, like a kid's perspective, I'm like, it's just It was probably my most downvoted video, review of.
All right, because so you really didn't like it.
I did not know. I think I even said that it would be better that you spend the money on taking your kids out to ice cream because it would be more memorable than.
Ouch.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm willing though. Like I'm excited with this one, and I'm going in with open mind. You know what I mean? Like I'm not taking that baggage.
Yeah.
Into this one. I mean,
I'd be surprised if you didn't enjoy this one. I really think they nailed it.
Nice.
There's like anime moments that are just like, oh, this is great. The moments I could talk about that would spoil. Perhaps when you've seen it, if you've enjoyed it, we'll do a spoiler talk and talk about the best moments, and that'll be fun. But yeah, so many moments. Like I could watch it again. I wouldn't mind if my son said to me, "Let's go to the cinema." Like, cool, yeah, let's go.
Okay, nice. Well, that's good to hear. Then I mean, I like the actors that are in it too. That's the other thing. So yeah. Okay, I'm excited. My press screening is coming up, so yeah, that'll be fun. Okay,
yeah,
cool. All right. So I have been watching this because I didn't get screeners for this show, so I've been watching it weekly, and it continues on Apple's release of shows with the title beginning in S. I mean, we have Slow Horses, we have Servant, there was Suspicion, and yes, Severance. That episode 8 this week. Yes. Oh my goodness. Like so I watched the first episode, I don't know, several weeks ago, because I came late to it. And
yeah, didn't you say last week that you didn't like it?
The first episode, really, it took a while for me to get into. Like, I wasn't feeling it. I thought that I had to be in the right mindset because it's quieter, it's weirder. And I'm not saying it's bad by any means. That's not, none of that. Like, there was not a negative feeling towards it. It was just, I'm not in the right mindset, in the right frame of mind, the right attitude to be watching this show. Now, my wife hadn't seen the first episode, so then we watched it again. And I still felt the same after that. I was like, gosh. But then we went into episode 2, and I really think that Apple for this show should have done episodes 1 and 2 together, because from episode 2 on, it has not been, well, I need to be in the right mindset to watch this show, because it's not as weird. It's not as downtrodden. It's not as, I mean, there's still a lot of crypticness to it. There's still a lot of mystery as you have these characters who basically, they go to work at this company. The premise is, if you don't know, I mean, they have their brain, their consciousness severed. And so when they get to work, they go up the elevator or down the elevator, however, they go down the elevator, and their outside life shuts off and their inside life turns on. And so that at that point, they have no memory of the other at all.
Yeah.
So, which in and of itself is a very depressing premise in one sense, because you never leave work.
It's pretty depressing in parts. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one episode where something happens to a character when she goes down the elevator. And so she comes back up in that exact mindset, even though days have passed. So it's like that's a kind of a horrifying premise in that aspect. I mean, you can go very dark with this, but so anyway, we've been hooked. After watching episode 2, it was like, oh my gosh, okay, it found its more of its stride. It still has that weirdness. It still has all of the quirkiness. It's beautifully shot, beautifully framed. It's mostly Ben Stiller directed, and he captures it really well. I actually watched Secret Life of Walter Mitty a couple weeks ago, and
I love that film.
Yeah, well, and you can see now, like some of the same influences, like in the shot choices and the framings that he uses, just the cinematography that he uses, and so which I loved. Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I love Secret Life of Walter Mitty. So this one, excuse me, it's there's one more episode. I'm chomping at the bit to finish it, because it's just everything is boiling to the top. And the way that episode 8 ends, was like, what, you cannot do that again with these cliffhanger types of things. It's like mid action and they just go to black and you're like, what the? And yet so good, so entertaining. The characters, I mean, John Turturro, excuse me, plays one of the coworkers. That dude,
love to hate him.
He's a gem though, isn't he? I mean, he's and then when there's a point where Christopher Walken has a character in there, and him and John Turturro together are
just that first scene when they meet is some of the best TV I've ever seen. It was awesome.
It is so bizarre too. The interactions. That's what I love. That I'm intrigued by everybody. I'm just captivated by them and their performance. And yet I'm also like a little weirded out at everybody.
You never quite know what's going on. You never know what's around the corner. You know, to mention the word break room should bring you some joy if you're in an office. Yes. Not on this. Like, and they're just like, why? Why is that so scary? Why is the break room scary? Now, I don't want to spoil it, but there's things in this it's not, the office is not right, man.
Yeah. Well, and even like the wellness sessions, you know, please enjoy these equally.
What does that mean?
10 points off. What?
Yeah.
Are we in Gryffindor? What's going on?
Yeah, you can't even, you can't, there's certain key things you're not allowed to say, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, if you have Apple TV, actually, if you don't even have Apple TV, I think this is one to get it for. This show, and Apple has actually been killing it. Because I know you had mentioned Pachinko. I've seen the first 3.
Oh my
Got to watch the episode 4 that just came out because I didn't get screeners for that either. And it is just like, whoa, so good. So they have, I mean, Apple is up in their game big time.
Yeah.
They're, yeah. So anyway, okay. So I've got, for my 2 top best things that I watched this week are Slow Horses and Severance on Apple.
Yeah, man. They've been kicking ass. I'm just so impressed with what, I mean, let's mention a little bit just before I talk about my final favorite thing, just how much poo we've had. Like, The Bubble, with that cast, I expected to be awesome. Judd Apatow is a bit hit or miss for me.
Sure.
I don't like all the things, but normally I can tell. I thought I could tell. And I thought, oh my, this cast, this is going to be great. When I saw the trailer for the trailer, so I didn't see the actual trailer of the film. I saw the trailer for the film that we're making. I was like, whatever it is, I'm down because I want to see that movie. It's like a Sharknado franchise with a budget. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I was down and I was so disappointed with this film. I can't tell you how sad I was. It just pissed me off. I switched it off and then I had to come back and my alarm's going off telling me to wake up. Sorry, audience. Yeah.
I hope that totally came through because I could hear it, and so I'm.
You could hear it.
I could hear
nice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the poo?
Yeah. Well, it was poo, and it was a waste of time. And I actually, because they didn't give me screeners, they were supposed to, and then change their mind, which is probably a bad sign right there. But so I stayed up on Friday night at midnight till well after 2, watching this and just getting more and more disappointed as it went along. There were moments that I smirked. You know, there were things that there were parts that I enjoyed, little bits here and there, but on the whole, I was just so really. And you're right. I want the movie within the movie. I want Cliff B6.
Looks so much fun.
Yeah, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And there was this. It's actually shocking at how unfunny The Bubble is.
Yeah.
Like, despite me having a couple of chuckles for 2 hours and I think 6 minutes, the
jokes don't land. They're so dry. There's pauses when they do a joke or a skit because I think they're waiting for the audience to laugh so they can carry on. but then it's just dry because nobody's laughing.
Yeah, no,
Like,
it was, yeah. Oh, well, and I had, see, that was my second poo right in a row because I had just come from Morbius. And
so how poo was Morbius?
it had potential. That's what bothers me so much. And
See, that's frustrating, isn't it?
because, it was supposed to come out, what, in 2020?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah. And then it just kept pushing back. So here's the thing. With all of that time and delays, you could have reshot some things. You could have re-edited it. You could have touched things up, made them clearer, whatever it is. I mean, the CGI, there are parts of the CGI that look great. There's this climactic battle, though, that you literally have no idea what's going on. Like, it is just, it's literally right here in front of your face, and it's just a blur of grays.
I hate it when they do. Why do that? You're wasting millions for something you can't see.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Because it's going to cost millions.
Oh yeah, no, totally. And there is a sub story within here that I think is actually the strongest part of the story, where it is Morbius, having the internal battle and the conflict because he's a doctor and has taken the Hippocratic Oath, and his pursuit has been noble. Why he even did all of this research and everything else to find a cure to this very rare disease. And that doesn't only affect him. I mean, it affects other people. So it's not like so rare that he's just being selfish. I mean, there is it's to help him also, but others. And then when it goes different than what he expected and has these other side effects that are very, very negative, now he's battling within this because the good part of him, the part that knows, no, I cannot do this. I cannot harm people. All of that. And yet now it has changed like my basic instinct within me that's the story I want. That conflict, that struggle back and forth, that was the strongest thing ever within this, and then you have a relationship with Matt Smith, who I think did okay for what he had. I mean, he's basically like the Doctor. He really is. I mean, he was just kind of eccentric and just kind of there, you know what I mean? And so he worked, but for what goes on between them should have been more impactful because of the relationship that has been shown before. But the rest of it, it is, it's sloppily put together. There's kind of like you were talking about, like skits thrown into together. There are
like scenes put together, but not cohesive.
No, there's two FBI agents who come in and they're distractions. Like, they literally don't add anything to the story. It is so bizarre because there are things that are mentioned with the detectives or the agents that are just throwaway lines, even though they have weight to them. Like, so you couldn't have done a flashback. You couldn't have dived into this a little bit more. Well, it doesn't matter because their presence doesn't really matter either. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so story time. So we live in a world now where at the end of a film, if a film is really good, people clap. So for Spider-Man, we saw all the around the world at various scenes, and I think by now we can talk about it when the other Spider-Men arrive on screen, people clapping.
Yeah.
When is it Daredevil arrives, people are like, woo!
Yeah.
And then at the end, like the massive scene, it people clapped. Endgame, people clapped. Like, when Cap picks up the hammer, I think I squealed.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Okay, so a friend of mine, I won't mention a name, was at a press screening for Morbius. Full house, apparently. There was a lot there. They were surprised. But this is the first time he's ever experienced a full house of press people, not public, boo the film.
Oh, wow.
So it was like immediate. Credits rolled, boo, with like thumbs down. And that just echoed throughout the screening.
like I've never experienced that. I mean, especially from press, I mean,
Yeah. Press don't do that. And this is in England, so we're quite reserved.
Yeah.
Really hated the film.
Yeah. Which, it was funny enough. My son came down yesterday and he's like, "Oh my gosh, have you seen the Rotten Tomatoes score?" And I'm like, "Well, no, but it's probably bad." And he was like, "The audience score, I don't know what's going on." Because I took both my sons to see it. My oldest son's wife and my wife. So we're like, "No, I don't want to see that. You go ahead and have fun." Which we didn't. We had fun hanging out. But the critics, it's at 17% currently. Audience score 67%. It's not. No, I mean even from an entertainment standpoint, like it's kind
like Uncharted, right? That film wasn't good, but I enjoyed watching it.
I had a blast with that movie. Yes, that was entertaining.
Yeah.
This one was just not very entertaining. That's the. I don't get it. I don't know. No idea.
I think we're on the same page with this one. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I don't know. I did. Yeah.
Anyway, back to the good stuff. The best thing.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know what to choose. I kind of have to. How are we doing for time?
We're okay.
We're okay? Okay, cool. So, I think I mentioned last week that there's a new Korean series coming out called Tomorrow. And what they do with these type of ones, when they buy the license and they slap their Netflix original, what it actually means is it's coming out sort of the same time around the world, probably in Korea. And so it comes out on the Saturday and Sunday. So you get 2 episodes over the weekend, and then that'll keep running until the 16th episode. And so it's 16-hour-long episodes. So you got to invest your time. So normally what I do is I'll test the waters. I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes and then see if I'm hooked, then I'll carry on. I'll put it on my watch list. So Tomorrow is basically a modern day Grim Reaper series. So there's this society that has different sects within the Grim Reaper organization, it's a big business. I was thinking of the Ryan Reynolds film where he dies and he comes back as a cop.
Oh, Ripped.
Yeah, Ripped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something along that lines, but this is much more reserved than that. And I can understand what one of the characters are saying. Because it was a Jeff Daniels. I never understood a word he was saying. Okay. Anyway, so there's one particular Grim Reaper group and one main protagonist that doesn't actually want to reap, wants to save, which puts a whole spin in it. And they unfortunately have the highest suicide rate in like the country on the world. So there's like 40 people a day trying to commit suicide.
Wow.
It's 15,000 a year or something. And so her particular group is looked down upon because that's not what reapers do, right? You go and reap the souls. And there's lots of sci-fi fantasy in this. It's pretty cool. The way they use it looks like it's got a fairly big budget. Some of the stuff that you see at one time, you go into someone's memory and you get to see how warped that is, and you're not allowed to be in the memory. So it's warping and breaking, like it's disintegrating, trying to push you out. Very cool effects. The way you see the Reapers themselves move, but they're all wearing suits and quite smart. Anyway, our main protagonist is about a guy that tries to save someone from jumping off a bridge. He ends up falling off the bridge himself and ends up in a coma. And so he's given an ultimatum. Either you stay in the coma for 3 years and then you wake up and your life is just nothing. He can't get a job on Earth. He has no place on Earth. His mother's worried about him. Or he can have 6 months as a Reaper, and then he can get a placement and a job of anywhere he likes. That's the kind of reward system for him. So he's like, okay, fine. If this is not a dream, then obviously I'm going to take this. And so it's this weird divide between really serious theme to quite quirky comedy. Because if you've seen some of the Korean content, they often have this light humor, slapstick. Sometimes it doesn't quite work and it comes across so cheesy and you're just like, I don't know if I can watch this. But this I quite like because the theme is quite dark. You know, that's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
That you even follow a couple of the stories where people go along, and I think that's probably what they're going to do with each episode, is follow someone and try and help them from making their life better. They have this app which says what percentage a person's depression is at and how close they are to just trying to take their life. And when they get to a certain percentage, they got to go and help. So I just thought it was really unique, different. I like the twist on the, I'm not going to reap you, I'm going to try and help you. So I'm down to watch more. It was really fun.
Nice. Okay. And that just started this weekend. Is that?
Yeah. So today, right now, in fact, the second episode aired.
Cool.
So you can go and watch 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah, right on. Well, I'll have to give that a try. That'll be fun. Okay.
Do you have anything else?
I do. I have two. I'm trying to decide what so Moon Knight came out this week. And I enjoyed it. Like, I had fun with it. I think Oscar Isaac is doing a really good job. I have no idea what's going on. Which is kind of a weird thing. I was talking to my youngest son about this, and he's big into Marvel. He loves it, and he reads some comics. I don't think he's read this comic, but all of the other Marvel shows that we have had on Disney have been established characters already. You know what I mean? And so this one, as episode 1 ends, I'm not any more in the know than I was when it started. So I have this dude who he's meek. He's just kind of mousy. There's something going on because he chains himself to his bed every night. He wakes up at one point and then he blacks out and then wakes up again surrounded by dead people that he has just killed. And then he has a voice inside of his head that's calling him a different name. The Egyptian lore within this, I love. Oh my gosh. I'm like, yes, I want this. I want them to dive heavy into the mythology. I want to soak this up and eat it up. Because it's not like things that I'm aware of, you know what I mean? That's just my own little selfish thing here. Like, I'm very intrigued by all of that, and so I want more of that. So Oscar Isaac is doing a great job. Ethan Hawke as our antagonist-ish, maybe. I mean, he could be a hero or an anti-hero. I don't know yet. He's subtle and weird and quiet, and I like him also. He has a really cool tattoo that does some wonky things, and that's, it's kind of brutal there. The show was fun. I mean, there was some good action scenes, and they use this, it's not really a strobing effect, but it's kind of a strobing effect. I mean, it's not like bright light happening, but when Oscar Isaac will either jump time or he'll black out for a second and wake up, with like either a few seconds later and he has done something really crazy, or it's like minutes later or whatever. I wanted them. I think they should have done more at the outset, or maybe they're just banking on, well, it's Marvel, people are going to watch. And that's, it's so I don't, I'm almost though tempted to wait a few weeks and binge several episodes at once, rather than kind of going along week to week where I just don't understand. I don't know because I have no context for this character. And I think that's probably what I want the most. Did you get a chance to watch it this week?
Yeah, no, I did watch it. I agree. I think that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to wait until all the episodes are out. I love Marvel. I've read loads of comics. It's not a character I know of. I know he's DC fanboys hate us comparing Batman to Moon Knight, because that's probably the closest that they can compare it to. But also, again, I think it's going to be a very different look at a character we haven't seen, who really it's a story about mental illness, when you boil it down. And so in interviews, I know that's one of the things that attracted Oscar Isaac. Now Ethan Hawke, I was going to say Ethan Hunt. You've never seen me angry. Wow, that'll be a different series.
Totally.
Ethan Hunt was on the lot in a coffee shop back in COVID time 2 years ago, and Oscar Isaacs was there as well. And Oscar saw Ethan Hawke. But everybody's wearing masks and stuff still, so you could barely recognize any of them. So he went up to Ethan Hawke and say, hey, there is this thing, this character that I think you'd be perfect for. And it was only like late into the conversation that he realized he was talking to. And he was like, oh, it's Oscar Isaacs? Thinks like, yeah, yes, Oscar Isaacs. And he said, well, get him to give me an email. And so later, Kevin Feige. And that's how Ethan Hawke came to which is fantastic. If you want to see the interview, it's the Radio 1 BBC interview, who is excellent always. So you'll enjoy that. Anyway, I just thought it was really interesting how they came to be. I thought Ethan Hunt Hawke has excellent presence, like, because he plays this guy that's basically got a cult, right?
Yeah,
everybody's worship him, and it's just so creepy without him being creepy. I thought he played that so well. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. I'm just not sold on the accent. I'm just not sold on his voice. I know it's purposely done and trained that way, but it every time I hear it, I'm like, you're not Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? It does kind of sound a bit Oliver, and I know that they've done that on purpose, but it'll probably take me a couple of episodes to get into just that. Also, really, really cheap way to film action scenes. Not show it.
Not show them. Yes. Speaking of action scenes, so there is a car chase. That was a little wonky. The CGI on that was there was some times where I was like,
it's a bit ropey.
Okay. Yeah. So
I thought it was well put together. It was an interesting concept. Like in and out of sleep, that sort of thing. Well, releasing the inner voice sort of thing to wake up and go, oh, this is what you did. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah. I am intrigued. I mean, enjoyed. I enjoyed what I saw.
No,
so it's
too.
not that it's just, I don't know what's going on.
It is very different. I like different. Wonder was different. Yeah. Until it was Marvel again. But yeah, and those first 3 episodes of Wonder were like, whoa, this is really unique. I love it.
Yeah. And then, exactly. There you go. Okay.
Cool. That's all that I want to talk about. The best thing.
Okay. Well, that's all that I got too. Hey, thank you. We appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday. Me, Chris with Movies and Munchies. You can hit us up on Twitter at Best We Watched. You can head over to wherever basically you listen to podcasts, get the full audio version of this, where we are going to this week. We're going to be talking about some entertainment news, some of the things coming up next week, and our tribute to Bruce Willis, even though he's not dead. I mean, it's not that kind of tribute. It's just a appreciation tribute for our top 5 Bruce Willis movies. And also hit us up on Patreon. There is a Patreon opportunity, patreon.com/thebeardedones. We'll link that in the description so you can get there and check it out. We'd appreciate your support there, and we'll see you next week.